10. So thank you guys for watching. I've got to get to quite a bit. I have to talk about your questions, and I'm so happy that you guys asked me a lot of questions because every question is valid if it's done with the right intention. And the intention we all have is to figure out what happened to Sebastian Rogers. So never worry if you hear something wrong, or just blur it out if you think you heard something, if you think you've noticed something that I may have missed, because I'm paying attention to so many things. There are 100 hours of tape that probably contains a lot more information that I've already given you, that I may eventually get through. Because looking for the right statements is the key in statement analysis. When you have the right statements, everything else falls into place. Believe me, everything will fall into place. And the most important thing is reporting, sharing what stands out to you. Whatever it is, it may be nothing, but you cannot be afraid of that. That's why Chris Proudfoot talks about that's all speculation. I don't want you to I don't want to speculate. What he's telling you is, I don't want you to speculate, but speculation is the key to an investigation. Not being a theorist. People who are theorists are stuck in their theories because a theory is only a placeholder to something that turns out to be wrong or something that turns out to be right. So when you're stuck in theories and then start to fabricate things and come up with things like, oh, they had the Proudfoots or the Bauer Saxes owned a funeral home or something that turns. No, that's the theorist. Or that's actually a fabricator of reality, no different than Katie Proudfoot. So it's always a great thing to allow your own mind to go there. Allow your mind to go anywhere it leads you when you follow your own intuition. And of course, later we use statement analysis to edit. That's like the editing process. Your intuition is not a bad thing. Like Ernest Hemingway said, he said, write drunk, but edit sober. There's something to that, because we can get easily misled and we are bombarded with misinformation and disinformation when it came to this case. And trust me, even though the PI is now gone off the case, no, he's not. He will come back. He just had to delete his X account because there's too much stuff that can be held against him. So don't think for a minute that he'll be gone. But it doesn't matter, because people are constantly getting sidetracked by anything. You remove one sidetracker, others will come. But the doors are closing in for the Proudfoot. And the same old lies, when they get, you see, the more you tell a lie, the more people believe it. But the more people point them out, people don't go back to the lies. It doesn't matter if it's in everyday life or politics or whatever you may think about right now, or a person, which is why a sociopath like Katie Proudfoot is terrified of being found out, because once you find out how good she is at lying, everything else she says in the future will be dismissed by you, by people in general. So you can never go back once you understand, once you know the truth, once you see a pattern, you can never go back to being in the zone. You can never go back to just being up there with the clouds. You can't. You can never unknow. So here are a few of you guys' questions. And the first one I want to bring up myself. At 6:30 or at 6 a.m. Let's say that you wake up at 6 a.m. Your alarm is set for 6 a.m. At what point do you actually step up out of bed? Let's think about that. The first thing I do is go to the bathroom. That'll take me a minute or two. It'll take me a minute or two, probably, to get up and step out of bed, right? So at what time would I be in my daughter's room? Maybe 6:03, maybe 6:04. I don't know, some of you are faster, maybe 6:02, right? But no more than that. So she said she got up at 6. She went to wake him up. According to Seth, the bed was not made, so there was no sign of him not having been there. She said it's regular that he tries to make breakfast. He goes downstairs, he already tries to make breakfast, or he hides somewhere trying to scare her. So now we got already 6:03 when she walks downstairs. So she says, I'm looking for him, hollering at him, I'm looking everywhere. I'm looking through all of the different parts of the house. A huge house. What about outside? You didn't open the door or the window and say, oh, yeah, it's Sebastian's name? No. Now we already would have at least 6:05 when she is in the middle, but far from done, searching for her son. When it dawns on her, he may not be here because she is the one who told us in her own language that Sebastian tends to hide or dip behind walls. By the way, dip behind walls, right? She said it. What else dips? We always look for experiential memory to sneak into somebody's statements. She then, okay, let me play for you real quickly Heather Cohen calling Chris's boss, alleged boss, by the way. Because some of you have told me you're actually suspecting it to be Chris. Now, I'm not going to make a determination because I have not listened to the whole call. I will reserve that until I hear the entire phone call between Heather Cohen and Chris's alleged boss. And then I will determine, as I'm able to, through anonymous author identification, whether or not the person speaking was actually Mr. Proudfoot.
Monday, February 26, she has
This is from Bad Crime Stories.
Admitted to being home with Sebastian. So she could be one of the three people, allegedly. But again, the police keep saying there are no signs of foul play. But the FBI has put out a $50,000 reward for information leading to Sebastian. That is strong evidence that they believe foul play is involved. Some of us speculate that it's Katie who is outside carrying a light source, jumping over a ditch, and then running back to the Proudfoot home.
Yes, 100%, because she told us he is already, so I ran back into the house. She realized he was no longer with us. She's making the same sign towards her neck like Chris was. Katie Proudfoot realized Sebastian was no longer alive. What do people like to get rid of immediately? The murder weapon, the bottle of pills. They had to get rid of that. And they got rid of it at the retention pond. And that's why Chris Proudfoot made the goof to say, with all of these children that are missing, police doesn't have time for Sebastian. You need to understand. It has to be equally dissolved. He said dissolved. He didn't say dispersed, dissolved. Because that is the conversation they had that night. They went to the retention pond, and maybe Chris said, yeah, but what if they find one of the pills? Like, if the... And maybe Katie, or maybe it was the liquid sleep aid, I don't know. And Katie probably said, no, it's going to be equally dissolved throughout the pond. And they won't be able to find it because there is so much contamination, so many other chemicals in there, so many different things. Katie knows her stuff. You know, she is very bad at performing. But now let me again go back to the 6 a.m. thing. So she already is on the phone with Mr. Chris at 6:03. No way. That's why she told us in the interview, Mind you, all of this happened in less than a minute. You see, it stuck out to us already. Because how can you search your whole big house and maybe the front yard or the backyard and everything to determine that a boy who likes to hide from you and scare you isn't there? She couldn't get, she couldn't wait to get this all over with. She could not wait. She was so, she is the type of person that gets a lot of anxiety. She's wonderful in coming up with stuff and fabricating things. She's very talented at that, but she needs the privacy of her own home. She has a fear of being caught, but trust me, she's sneaky. When she goes into her mode and doesn't think she'll be caught, and she gets an idea for a new fabrication, her mind naturally works. She's a fabricator of realities. And that is probably something that comes very natural to her and happens automatically throughout her life. That she's able to hide what horrible situation she had in her home when she was a kid, and she was able to portray the image of somebody whom everything was just fine with. And she has this pattern that she doesn't just tell a lie, she builds a story around it to make sure you remember the lie and hear it so many times that you assume Sebastian walked out of the house, which he did not. And I will show you later. Chris Proudfoot actually called the Nacht divers when they were searching at the retention pond or somewhere close by. And he explained his version of how Sebastian must have walked to the retention pond. How far is that pond? I will check it out later. So now we have 6:03 and she's already on the phone. She couldn't wait to get it over with. She was either already up or she set her alarm and pretty much went to the bathroom and immediately called Chris because she knew she had to do this to pretend that she's reporting that Sebastian is missing. And then it took them 30 minutes to call law enforcement. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So now we have this 30 minutes where she's coaching him what to say, and they decide she's not going to be on a call because Chris will be able to claim things such as Sebastian was seen by a neighbor, he was just running away, to keep it from being a criminal case, to avoid all of these channels. And by the way, police is nowhere near a solution, nowhere near. And remember when Tony in Seth's stream said, Seth, police knows, police is looking at somebody, right? And Seth said, yeah, sure do, they sure do, something like that. That struck me as very strange because Tony has different types of conversations with police than he has with him. And they're also using him to keep Seth in a state of where he doesn't freak out and make him believe they're getting close. I do not believe it, not for one bit. Not. And if you listen to the recent video by Narc Divers titled Sebastian Didn't Walk out of the House, they are concluding how A, they have been fooled by Chris Proudfoot, which is Katie's script, Katie's idea, masterminding it, and it's a 3-hour video, but there's a lot of good, solid information introduced, better than what I've heard before. So, Katie Proudfoot is seen at 6:32 a.m. and some change, driving towards the end of that one road, going by the school, right? And after 31 seconds, she makes a U-turn and comes right back. And she is clicked, coming back, almost back at her home at 6:32 minutes and 52 seconds, people. 6:32:52. She's already back on camera. And she is seen. And guess what? She talked to us about I was hollering, hysterical, screaming his name. No, you were not, because your windows were up. Can you believe that? There are two pictures. One of her going down there, so the passenger seat window was up, and driving back, and the driver's window was also up. She didn't holler at all, and again, she wanted to get it over with. So by the time that Chris initiated the call, the three-way, which wasn't really a three-way because she was on mute the whole time, she was either almost back at her house or she was already back at her house. She was done. She already was done with the so-called search. She already figured, all right, that's good enough. Now, Chris's boss, so-called boss, let's listen to this.
Jumping over a ditch and then running back to the Proudfoot home. Again, it's speculation, not a fact. So who could be the person holding?
This is what we love, because this is exactly what my analysis has already concluded, that Katie Proudfoot realized Sebastian was already no longer with us, so she felt the need to run back into the house. She told us in her own language that's exactly what happened. And now I realize I hadn't listened to this before. Mob Crew, I have never listened to before. I have listened now. Bad Crime Stories, I think one time for 2 minutes I listened to something, but I don't pay attention to these things because I cannot influence my own analysis. Later on, I can compare my analysis to the facts as they or the possibilities that come towards me. And I be damned. It all strengthens what I already concluded back then.
The second light source. That would be the person in the scout role. Let's talk about it. Let me play part of a call between the private investigator who was initially working on the case, Heather Cohen, and Chris Proudfoot's alleged boss on the St. Jude's job site.
Hello. Hey, Jeff. Hi. My name is Heather Cohen. I'm a licensed private investigator, and I just got your number from one of the guys on the job site. Said I needed to call you.
Well, what?
About what? Oh, I'm getting to that. Give me a second. I am trying to. I just want to get the logs of when Chris Proudfoot checked in and checked out of the job site on February 26th. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. On Sunday, right? That Sunday, I was going to put his fucking skirts on the shelf. I left on my holiday at 8 o'clock at night. I got back at 11:30 from the bar. He was still there at midnight. He was up at the job site at 5:15 in the morning.
This same person, either a boss or a...
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? She asked about the 26th, and immediately he said, and sorry, he cursed also, Proudfoot style. About what? Was it Chris actually or not? Well, I'll get to this when I get the entire call. I don't want to make any. I will look for the entire call. And again, if you guys have a video handy, just post it. He was asked about the 26th, and immediately he established an alibi for him. And before he said he saw Chris at 11:30, he explained to you why he would be able to see him at 11:30 or see his car or vehicle, truck at 11:30. He felt the need to establish his own alibi before you ask, why was he there at 11:30 being able to see Chris if he had to get up at 5:15 in the morning? Oh, at 8 he went to a bar, and when he came back at 11:30, that's when he realized Chris was there. So he was there the whole night and got to his job site at 5:15, which, by the way, I don't believe at all. It could have been as late as 7 or 6:45 from what I understand now. You see, this is what statement analysis helps you do. establish the intention, and the only intention was to establish an alibi for Chris Proudfoot. He didn't get to the question, he didn't answer the question until the very end to say he was there at 5:15. That was the question was on the 26th, on Monday. And he says, Sunday, right? Sunday, right? Was that Chris Proudfoot? Well, I think you guys already, I will get more into this later. But I had to play you guys this. So, let's see here. The shoes, mob crew. The shoes, right? Because one of you guys has said to me that the shoes were reported missing in the 911 in the non-emergency call.
But that is very interesting. But here is
drove back to the house, and
it's Katie, 41 seconds, or gotta do my math, 31 seconds.
20 days later.
31 seconds, quickly driving up Killen Ave and quickly making a U-turn. Just enough to, get on there. Be seen on the cameras, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that cough. That cough. And then her, it's like him, trying to tap, hey, let me take over. You're going to start spilling the beans, Come on, get me in the conversation,
Yeah.
right? So I can now take over, because that's what happens every single time. Is once she gets to that point of, after we've looked, she looks for him for a few minutes. It's the three-way call, and then Chris, can now take over the conversation. Which, yeah.
Calling I'm driving a 15-year-old male not in the bed. Yeah, right now, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot. I'm trying to turn down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants.
This kid did not disappear. Again, for anybody that's kind of maybe newer to this case, for those that don't know, this neighborhood, I want to say it's like a high-end community, but, it's a fairly decent, that's a word I'm trying to look for. But, yeah, it's a nice community. And most of them, and the ones that do, have more than one camera. And you can hear it actually in this. As a matter of fact, remember I told you guys, I've seen the addresses that have cameras, and it's a long, long list. And that's just on Kellen and Stafford. And nobody. And again, they mention a lot of these addresses. I mean, because it's out there. So I'm just going to, so it's not like I'm giving away anything. But in this, original call from the YouTuber that put this together, they start going through the list, right? Mentioning addresses and who's may have seen something, if they saw anything. Nobody. This kid did not just disappear. There's no way. And he didn't wander off because there's no way, what I'm trying to say is there's no way he could wander off. There's way too many cameras.
I know that.
I still haven't got to the other big part. If you can, please hit that like button. It helps us support this channel.
Yes, do that.
Get us up to 1,000 likes if you haven't hit that.
Yes, do that.
I said I'm trying to do a lot behind the scenes, looking at some stuff.
I hope this is it. One moment, guys.
Oh, damn it. Where did I put it? Okay, there it is. Oh, shit. That's screwed. No, that one's still there. Okay. So, is it this? Yeah, you can see it. I mean, if you're on your cell phone, it's one of those things, as you zoom in more, it's kind of like you don't see it, but you can see almost like the handicap, unless that's the camera. It could be the camera, because...
Oh, where's this part? He talks about the police scanner, and he actually is. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Sorry. Where are we?
Construction zone in the same area back there. Yeah, the north end of it, yeah. Come over here, go straight back. There's a person in the woods by that pond. Past the house on the other side of the tree line. Going back toward the beach or going on the back side. Yeah, on the back side, and he's not moving. He's just standing there by himself in the woods.
Okay. Now, it's almost 8 p.m., I think, in this, according to this. 8 a.m. Did I say 8 p.m.? 8 a.m. So he's been missing for 2 hours. They've only been notified for hour and a half.
Yeah.
But this is what's interesting. And they don't even get there. Sumner County, it doesn't even sound like they got there until almost 10 minutes before 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But this is the weird thing.
It's Hendersonville 517.
It's Hendersonville, which I'm assuming is... Now, let me know, correct me if I'm wrong in chat. I'm assuming this is HPD on their scanner saying, hey, yeah, this is Hendersonville. Hey, I'm going to go check, because now he's going to say, because they were just saying, hey, there's something in the woods. For those, I'm sure most of you guys know, they thought they saw somebody in the woods just north of the area here.
Right.
Pull up my map here. I'm not sure exactly where it was. I don't know if it's right here, but somewhere up north, I believe. I could be wrong. Someone could, know in chat. But either way, somewhere in a wooded area, not far away from the home, there was a mannequin, but they thought it was a real person. Anyway, but they didn't know at the time, and so they say, hey, we see somebody. And here is what I believe is Hendersonville saying, hey, it's Hendersonville.
Okay, we got it.
I'm close by. I'll go check it out.
I hope this is...
Oh, there we go. Castle's already on it. Castle's on it. I don't want to get that. We're right there. But yes.
You see, I'm afraid to scroll forward, so I'm going to skip it because it's a long video from him. And what I want to get to is where shoes are mentioned, to clarify what was actually mentioned.
Yeah, mannequin in the woods. Tracy says one side of Long Hollow is HP, the other side is SCSO. Interesting.
No,
okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Not interesting. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. So this is where it gets interesting, because again, if the theory is from what I hear is if you were to call 911, right, and then it...
Come on, dude.
The normal way is when it sounds like they're starting to do this, but there's something on the scanner that's mentioned that is, in my opinion, could be something or could not.
So to any units they're going to be assisting with 1008. Please come to 1008 Davenport now, please.
So as you can see, I think it's around 9 a.m. They're saying, all right, come back to 1008 after whatever you're doing. I think to start. Start from the beginning. This is where they start collecting, or at least checking footage. And then this is what's interesting.
At the beginning of Kelly Lane 1000. We're going to work our way north of Kelly Lane. That's fine. I'll get these two houses right here, and we'll take the right side. The right forward truck, that's the Hendersonville officer's house that's with me.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, God.
Let me play that one more time.
1008. Please come to 1008.
I don't believe in patience, by the way.
Start at the beginning of... Please.
Now, for those that don't know, this would be the same officer. Now, I guess he's a part. Same neighbor did a vigil. The neighborhood did a vigil for the family, which the family never showed up. They sent a extended aunt or uncle, I can't remember, from the Proudfoot's family side of it.
Right.
But this Hendersonville PD guy was there. He also allegedly was at, this has now been leaked out, so I guess not much, but apparently he was at the command center as well. I'm just going to say allegedly. I wasn't there. And anyway, at the vigil, which I believe took place, I think one of the misconceptions, that's an officer, so I don't. Hey guys, the construction zone was another pond. There's somebody standing in the woods. It looks like a person. It is a person. To the.
Oh, Jesus. Come on.
And if you're going to be going out the front door, because she did before she went into her car through the garage, so she clearly went past his shoes at least twice.
Yeah. Now listen to this.
So the scenario, I'm still looking at that as well. I don't know if we will be able to tell exactly.
It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints or anything? You wouldn't have any shirt.
There we go.
Well, the other question is, so they talk about footprints, and the guy says at the beginning there, didn't have any shoes, right, or something like that, right here. So I don't know, did she tell them?
You know, the red has them on. Has them for you. Let's get track back up. The construction site back toward the beach. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints or anything? You wouldn't have any shoes.
Couldn't have any shoes. So this is the weird thing. And I think it just looks bad both ways because, one, did she not notice his shoes were all there? Which, you know, it's the first thing Seth noticed, right?
Exactly.
And I think any mother would probably do the same.
Right.
You know, because your adrenaline's going, you're high alert. And if you're going to be going out the front door, because she did before she went into her car through the garage, so she clearly went past his shoes at least twice. So scenario one, with she didn't notice them, or was just didn't want to notice them, or she did, and she did mention that to them. But then that just makes it sound worse because if she sees all his shoes there, then why is she driving all the way to the school? I mean, this kid would have like bloody feet, you know, wandering down Long Hollow. I don't know, bloody feet, but you know, it just sounds ridiculous either way, in my opinion. All right.
Right there where you're standing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Leading right over here to the ravine. No shoes, just footprints. He literally dove into it. This lady straight to the tank.
No.
Into water.
They had found some glasses, I think like, 2 months in? Maybe it was the first month. They weren't his, just
Wrong.
somebody else's.
Could have been his. It hasn't been confirmed. Let's remember that, okay? It has been confirmed. It has been stated by TBI, but that doesn't mean I believe that. I want to know how did they test them, because Seth said they looked very similar to Sebastian's glasses. So please, before I accept anything as fact, I want to know.
Okay, so we have this whole connection, this whole three-way where either...
Okay, enough of him. Thank you, Mob Crew. That was good. They saw footprints, what looked like a footprint, but he couldn't have any shoes. So they didn't know that the shoes were all there, right? They noticed footprints, but it didn't make sense to them because they wouldn't expect him to have no shoes on. I mean, that's the same thing Mob Crew got out of this as well. So he didn't say that on the police scanner, they mentioned Sebastian walked out with no shoes. No, it's actually the opposite. Right? That's what I'm getting out of it. You can watch it all on Mob Crew as well. The police officer one reported footprint, but it makes no sense because he couldn't have had any shoes to leave a footprint. How can this be? So they dismissed it, right? Okay, now, Chris Proudfoot also talked to narc drivers. He called in on them. Narc divers, by the way. And I want to say something else about the bite marks. I was asked about the bite marks, people. So here's my thought on that. Sebastian could have still been alive when Chris got there. And it was his job to carry Sebastian out. And Sebastian may have bit him and later passed away as a reflex because he felt danger. That's a very strong suspicion I have. Of course, if they got rid of his body, he could have scratched himself anywhere. It's very easy to do depending on what they did to get rid of him. But it looked like it could have been bite marks, unless the pictures have been altered. So you guys can tell me, what have you seen? What does it look like to you? And so on and so on. And the whole, the retention pond, I need to see how far away this actually is. Narc divers. So this one is from Crime Sleuthin YouTube channel because narc divers have already deleted that video for whatever reason, where Chris Proudfoot called in during the search. And let me hear a little bit of that. From the beginning. This is Crime Sleuthin from YouTube. Come on, Crime Sleuthin. Where you at? Are we all right here? Is something not working? Okay, guys. This is terrible. This always happens. Because Chris Proudfoot called in during their search. And he wanted to explain his version of why the dogs hid at the pond.
All this together. Okay.
Is that what he's talking about directly right there? No.
So a track.
Wait a minute, let me see this again. There's a map here. It would take 2 minutes by car. And Sebastian supposedly walked this way barefooted. And the dog followed on the street, not through the grassy areas or anything like that. Meaning Sebastian would have walked the street. I see a bunch of houses. Many cameras would have been there, and that street would have been lit, right? Did TBI actually check the cameras to see the cars that were there, that were driving by? Was any of this released? No. They have no intentions of letting you know anything. They are not close to cracking the case. If you listen to Narc Diver's recent video, they're talking about many of them and their friends have called TBI or the sheriff's they have called that law enforcement number, and after 2 weeks they haven't even gotten a reply. Not even, sorry, we're busy, we're working on it, we'll get back with you. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely not a thing, which is very unusual. And remember when Chris told us, they can't go call you back, they don't have time to call back everybody and this and that. He already knew they're not going to be able to because they are stuck. They don't want to embarrass themselves. They don't want to admit to the world that from the very beginning they skipped a couple of steps simply because Chris called somebody that he may have known at that office and convinced them that this is nothing but a runaway case. Believe me, if these people are on the stand, that will be a national embarrassment to law enforcement in the area. They have no intention. They may know who did it now, and Seth, of course, believes whatever, anything. Tony says this is what they say, and they say tell him whatever to keep him calm. But the bottom line is no, Seth cannot be listened to when it comes to secondhand information at all. What I do believe when he says the glasses were very similar to Sebastian, I believe that. Now, it's probably easy to get Seth off their back and say, no, we tested it. Well, how did you test it? I believe Seth. I'm not listening to law enforcement. I'm not involved with this department. And so I don't have any obligation towards them. And I do not look at them for facts because I think they lied about the trash truck. They lied to Seth all of the time about so many things. They don't want to level with the guy. They keep him off their back. They know they screwed up already, people. So don't expect law enforcement to give you any smoking gun or be any closer than they were in day one.
All this together. Okay.
So I think it says 1.8 miles. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what I've seen. 2-minute drive, 1.8 miles that Sebastian would have had to walk. It doesn't look that, yeah, it could be 1.8 miles. Doesn't look that far though. But a 2-minute drive.
Is that what he's talking about? Directly right there? Oh.
So a track. And do you know how much they actually drained? They drained the whole thing. It's okay. So initially, when they went over to look at it, it was only knee deep. From the picture that you showed me, there's a lot of new runoff. Yeah, that's what where they're cutting. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I was like, I don't know how shallow it was before or after. Yeah, I'm 5'9", and it was knee deep. So, and they even drained it and still walked it. Okay, so they actually walked it. I didn't know that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is actually information that was told me by law enforcement. Yeah, so they actually, because I don't want to be a law enforcement thing, you want to be in a vehicle. Right. Drove me around and showed me a bunch of stuff.
I'm the only one they've done this with. Law enforcement took him there, and he was able to get in knee deep, and he's 5'9". Okay, why wasn't Katie there looking for her son?
Okay. So I can actually give you a little bit more information than what everybody's out there running. I'm going public with it. No, I'm tired of BS. That's what I kept trying to tell everybody. I was like, it's, I said he left the house. I mean, the internet went crazy with rumors and speculation. And I was like, I don't go off of rumors. I go off of the world.
He's trying to convince him that these 1.8 miles, I think that is 1.8 miles, the 2 minutes by car, all street, not grassy areas he could have gone. That's where the dog tracked. He's trying to convince us Sebastian must have walked there with no shoes.
Yeah, now, and I said something about that pond. I said, and it just stopped. I said, so that's where I want to go. That's where I want to search and try to figure this out. And then work backwards from the pond. Okay, if you were to walk from the pond, go straight up into the construction site, you'll see where they're cutting the road and it turns left. If you walk that all the way back, runs into our subdivision.
Let me see something here. Or this, okay.
Okay. If you go down Kelly, all the way down to Stafford, and walk
Now here's the reason he has given conflicting versions about where the dogs tracked. Because he wants it to look like it was a path Sebastian would have taken by foot.
down towards Stafford toward our house. From our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm gonna tell you where the dog scent went. They started on the front porch. Okay. Off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right.
Okay, he's introducing the front porch again. Remember the front porch. You see the porch. So he said from there the dogs tracked. Could have been. But the porch is also highly sensitive to him. Doesn't mean this is exactly where Sebastian passed, but somewhere around there. He couldn't have stepped off the porch.
They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence. So it was the back side, or the that right to the north. If you're looking at my house, okay, it's going to be the right hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog goes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard. And that's the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that, that's where they get over to the main road, go up Kellen, and head over
Callan?
to
Callan.
another subdivision. Okay. I know they've had dogs. How many? Yeah, a lot of dogs. But day one, there was 5 dogs. There was a Belgian Malinois, a blue heeler, 2 bloodhounds, and a blue tick. I know with good dogs, like they'll do the track that's on the ground, and then if they smell a stronger scent in the air that's closer, they'll go to that direct scent.
Mm-hmm.
The dog handlers told me
Seth.
first day,
Wow.
Monday, that the dog popped to a trail and they followed it and went all the way around and it ended in a construction site, but it ended. It's like there was nothing there.
Right. And that's a little odd.
Which
right?
leads me to believe that, well, if it ends, normally the scent ends when you stop traveling on foot. From my understanding, that would mean that he got into a car.
He was already in a car, but it drove
if he
faster.
got into a car, just so I understand the construction site itself, did the scent stop in the middle of the construction site, or did it stop on the side of the road? Okay.
They didn't tell me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They don't tell you anything. So don't think.
If tracking actually on the ground, then I feel like this is the play. Like the spot to figure it out. Because if he would have cross tracked, like actually like headed back, they should have been able to pick up on it. Like a good dog. In the 8 days of the variance in searching, in the 8 days.
Intense.
On day 1, the 5 dogs did that. Out of the 8 days, 3 different dogs from 3 different groups went to that same area in that same set. On day 1, 2 of those dogs did the same path.
So, why did he call in there? Why is he so interested? Because he doesn't want them to draw their own conclusions. He wants to talk about the porch. He wants to talk about building a scenario that Sebastian stepped off this porch. But guess what? No way, Jose. 1.8 miles, right? So if they drove at a slower speed through the neighborhood, with Sebastian in the car, the dogs could have picked up the scent. However, after the retention pond, they took off, they got rid of his medicine, of the sleep aid, whatever it is that caused Sebastian to injure himself and later pass away from the injuries of the fall. This is crucial, people. They sped off. And you can hear also I don't know if I even want to play the audio to this, but it's, you guys heard it and you can find the video on my channel too from the ring cam, allegedly. Let me see. Lauren from Facebook. She is the lady that has first posted that and brought it to my attention, as she has many other things. Now I'm switching to my ex. Come on, people. Like I say, feel free if you have a video that strikes you as strange, just immediately copy the link and just put it into my comment section. Don't worry about if there's something that you may have heard wrongly, because it happens to me all of the time, but I have to re-listen again and again and again. So you don't need to, and that's the beauty of it. When I see people ask questions, and before I see them, people already answer them. So be generous sharing. Yeah, she's sharing. Let me see her latest video. Sorry.
Given like the description of what he was last seen like in the black outfit, is that something that he wore to bed?
Yes. So he wore, like I said, it was the black pants with the white stripes down the side. It was a long sleeve black shirt. It was not a hoodie. It wasn't a sweatshirt. It was a long sleeve black shirt.
And y'all think that he went out the front door?
Right now, that is the best assumption available.
I don't think maybe he might have put a sweater on or something. I mean,
that right there that would be an assumption, and we never saw him.
Yeah.
We saw what he went to bed in, and that was it.
Whenever she was
See,
given like the description.
this is what Lauren just said. There is more indication that Chris was home. That's what he went. That's what let me listen to this again.
Of what he was.
Wait.
Black shirt.
And y'all think that he went out the front door?
Right now, that is the best assumption available.
Y'all don't think maybe he might have put a sweater on or something? I mean,
that right there that would be an assumption, and we never saw him.
Yeah.
We saw what he went to bed in, and that was it.
We saw what he went to bed in, people. We saw what he went to bed in because he saw Sebastian. Chris Proudfoot was there, people. He's told us in his own words. Thank you, Lauren from Facebook. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic what you come up with. And it pains me to see how people waste their time with arguing. And then it's a handful of people that do. No, it's more people, of course, but it's like the majority out there, they're not interested in anything, just arguing. I don't understand it. We can't go on with it. It's so boring too, Okay, come on. Let me see what I got here. Okay, audio alleged from the ring camera. I don't really hear anything, but people, let me start. Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, I don't really hear anything either. But let me see if I see some of you guys' comments. Yeah, let me see YouTube, blah, 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 blah. I'm almost done. I don't want to make it more than an hour. Was Chris mandated not to be? One of you says, let me tell you who wakes up with my alarm in the morning. The dogs. Then they follow me to the restroom, then they follow me to kids' room and help wake them up with face licking, lol. Katie never got up at 6 a.m. to wake up her kid. It's another lie. Yeah, people, I agree 100%. She was either up already or where was her friend Lori? I have no idea, people. A lot of things I don't know. Mike, it was actually 2 hours and 15 minutes according to CP. When CP and KP began their phone call to midnight, not 3 hours. Okay, just want to point this out. Love your work. Thank you for sharing your views and expertise. Yeah, it wasn't 3 hours, people, but it was. But didn't they? Who started saying it was 3 hours? Was it them? Sadly, he's probably in the landfill. I don't know. I've said it before. The first thing I would do is put the cadaver dogs or any of the dogs to the homes of the Bowersoxes, the cars, the properties, and so on. That's what I would do. In my opinion, by the way, everything I'm mentioning is my opinion only. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. She said something in an interview that took 3 minutes to answer. All these threes, what all guilty? Yeah, 3 is a liar's number. Yes, I agree. When people fabricate, like somebody who just posted something and said, yeah, I only had 3 likes before or 3 shares. You can make up your own mind on these things, but 3 is a number that very often comes in when people fabricate something. Sorry, I'm looking for some of your comments. I will do more of that later. Clonidine is prescribed as a sleep aid for some children with autism, ADHD, and other. I don't know. You see, we cannot have an autopsy. We cannot test. There's no body, people. What about contacting the pharmacy to find out when? Yes, I mean, again, what is police doing? What are they doing? And that is the issue I'm having with Seth too. They don't tell him anything. What they say isn't so, but he still believes, because Tony says it, that they're getting close. And by the way, everything has to go through Tony. I'm not expecting an answer from the question I forwarded. I'm not expecting an answer at all. I'm not even expect Seth to see any of the questions that I sent him, including a link where you guys have asked amazing questions, and I will read more of them in my next video, because I think that is exactly what we have to do. I am one person. My specialty is the statement analysis area, but like I have said, a lot of the things like Mob Crew, I've heard about Mob Crew. A lot of these guys are. I see their posts. Some of them follow me, and I follow them back, and some of them comment on my posts, and I get more of an ability to look outside of statement analysis. But a lot of these videos, they are also, speculations are wonderful, but they need to lead somewhere. So I like it when I already get facts, or when the speculations are starting to show, to move from speculation into the area of facts, when more and more confirmations come in, and many of the speculations turn out to be wrong. So this is not what I'm spending a lot of time on. I can't spend a lot of time on. So many of you have already made conclusions. So anything that you guys conclude, I'm very interested in. Wow, I should have started this before in the beginning. Please hit the like. Thank you. Yeah, hit the like. Thank you, Christine Roman. Did Sebastian have a night light at either? Yeah, that's the other thing. Somebody said that she never turned on the light, but why? 6 a.m.? I don't understand that, but fill me in. Very odd calling the person who is 3 hours away. Absolutely. Go to the neighbor's house. Hello, have you seen my son? That's what I would do. I don't think I would even drive down the road. I think I would go to the immediate neighbors. Excuse me, have you seen my son? Please, everybody. I would make a big scene and make sure whatever neighbor is home is going outside and they independently maybe review their cameras or look through their backyards, all of that. I would look closest to home. I would notice there are no shoes and would assume he didn't make it far. I would probably go insane and say, can I look through your house? Maybe he is somewhere in there. I would be worried somebody, a neighbor, grabbed him and say, let me look through your house. Would you mind? I would be on the phone with police the whole time. Please let me search some houses here. And I would be unreasonable. Now, it would be reasonable, actually, but people would probably say he's unreasonable. But I would say, if you have nothing to hide, let me look through your house. Merci from Quebec. Thank you so much. I love it. Why call Chris? Yeah, I have this dreadful feeling that the medications given to Sebastian were not prescribed to him. That could be. Possibly it was high-powered anti-anxiety or sleep medications prescribed to KP or CP. This might be why it's such a touchy subject. Absolutely, this could be the case. I mean, do they give children sleep aid? Teenagers? I guess maybe they do. Maybe, but we've seen also the suspicion in the case of Maddie McCain that maybe Peter Hyatt talked about how he knew doctors who openly told him and later lost their license that they give cough syrup because it has some alcohol in it and it's strong enough for the kids to fall asleep. And this is also a good possibility that, of course, what they gave him wasn't prescribed to him. Let me see. Wow, I love doing that because I never get to you guys' comments in terms of answering except a few. Simply because by the time I'm done with one video, I'm already in the middle of a new topic, of something new, because things come to me so fast and I want to cover everything. Oh, I appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Wow, I'm really humbled by them. And I am so happy to see that there are people who are interested in the case. I'm so happy about that because there was a time on Twitter when I thought all people want to do is use it to gossip and bash the PI who they had any right to do that, of course. But why waste so much time? It wasn't even entertaining to me. What's entertaining to me or exciting to me is to figure out things because we live in a world full of lies. And every time I'm able, what was he wearing in the restaurant? No, he could have changed, but Chris saw what he was wearing at night. He only played at the arcade at the bowling alley, so he didn't even go bowling, right? Katie, in her mind, yes, it was a really good day. I believe her. It was to her. But for Sebastian, everything that Sebastian's activities included seems really boring to me, uninteresting for a 15-year-old. Yeah, more about the bite marks. Well, they could have carried him out and Sebastian may have tried to defend himself, still alive, you know? It's a very strong possibility. And I'm sorry, Seth, when I say these things, but this is statement analysis, and hope is very important for him. And Tony knows how to handle him and shield him from things. But I have to be direct here. I cannot, I'm not in the position. I need to follow the statements and what they tell me. Wow, people, this is actually great. I have this dreadful, almost done. Yeah, don't expect the case to be solved, people. It'll be solved by us, the same way the John Benet Ramsey case. I know exactly what happened now. Statements I previously missed simply because of all the noise and the media focused so much on the beauty pageants and the staging and the ransom note and this and that, which John told us it's nonsense. Hi, Mike. I love your opening statements about Illuminati and her lapdog. Yeah. These people, I'm not worried about them, honestly. I don't listen to them. I want to hear about them because you guys often mention them, but why even listen to these people? If you have nothing to offer, I mean, a lot of people are out there speculating about different things, but then they also have these moments where they share something that I didn't know before. Okay, let me look at my notes. What did I have here? The shoes. Narc Divers. Narc Divers now made a video called Sebastian Didn't Walk Out of the House. And they are talking about, they know how they've been bamboozled. They also say law enforcement, you guys can listen to the bite marks, 6 a.m. Okay, guys, I think I'm done for today. I'm looking forward to my next video already now that I'm going to get into some of your comments because I think it's a lot better for me to do that on video. I will address them. Anything that you have, feel free to point out what I've missed. Feel free to point out what you think you may have heard. And please be generous with your comments. If you see a question that you can answer, I may not get to it in time. Feel free to answer each other, help each other. Let's solve the case together because nobody can shake the truth. It doesn't matter what law enforcement is doing. It doesn't matter what any PI is doing. It doesn't matter what because everybody here has failed us. How satisfied are you with the investigation? Seth said, my son is not here. Chris said, I'm very happy with what they have done. What have they done? They have failed so far. And he's very happy about it. So I believe him. I see you guys later. This was actually fun. I have another one where I'm actually listening to Web Sleuth. And it's a lot of cussing on there from Christopher. But it's like a reaction video actually, where without having analyzed it on paper or anything like that, I'm just pointing out exactly what struck me as strange. Please pass on this video. Pass it on. Because I am filtering out the things from other channels now that are important. So you don't have to spend 3 or 4 hours listening to a live or something like that simply to get to 5 minutes worth the statements that actually count. But again, Lauren from Facebook, I am so happy that you are the one who's always clipping out. Be a Lauren. That's all I can say. That somebody is doing that, and Sweetie Pilo, of course, I'm also so appreciative of what you are doing. Narc Divers, yeah, it's a long video, but actually most of it already I know about. But it's just interesting for me to see that these people who in the beginning, when Chris Proudfoot talked, were saying, yeah, okay, I got that. Okay, yeah, he walked out. Yeah, sure. From the moment he got on the phone, Chris said, yeah, there's all this BS and all these rumors and all of this. No, they were not rumors. They were, I guess, rumors that started to crystallize, crystal clear, right, Chris? They started to crystallize because There are rumors that turn out to be false, and then somebody says something among the rumors, and other people are looking at it, actually trying to discredit it, but they can't. That's what I often do. Everything I'm finding out, I'm trying to discredit. I'm looking at the what ifs, I'm looking at any possible reason why what I'm saying may not be true. And sometimes I write down the pros and the cons. Actually, I'm writing it down in my head. But this is also something that is good to do, because sometimes when you sit down and try to write down the pros for a certain theory, you may realize that, wait a minute, there's nothing here, or vice versa. There is no con. This is what makes sense. So, what can I say? Please leave your comments. Thank you. I'll see you next time.